Folks, welcome to the Week 16 NBC Sports Edge, powered by Rotoworld Waiver Wire Q&A. I'm Denny Carter. Thank you for joining me again. I'm sorry I'm a little late. Turns out that my computer booted me out of everything, including StreamYard. So I had to work on that as I was supposed to be starting the stream. Apologies. Please, if you're in line to ask a question, stay in line. Okay, that's your legal right. If you were in line before, before my 3-minute delay here in starting the stream, you can stay in line and still get your questions answered, or at least one question. I can't guarantee everyone. All right. Yes, I am indeed decked out. Let me show you my tie, if I could, for one moment. Check it out. I have many Christmas ties, and I was actually, it was an excruciating decision to go with this one over the others. It's much like choosing a favorite child. Maybe a little different, but in the same range, really. When you think about it. I hope my kids never watch me do this. All right, we're drinking. What we're doing here was we're drinking hustle juice, aka coffee. I don't know. The Zoomers are calling it hustle juice. So, in an effort to keep up with the times, really speak face to face with the kids, with the younger generation, I have taken to calling it hustle juice. I tell my wife at night, don't worry, I made the hustle juice for tomorrow morning. I preset it for 6 a.m. So we can both hustle. That's the idea here. Okay, listen. I know people just want me desperately to shut up and answer their questions. I get it. But first, I'll tell you that my waiver wire column for Week 16 can be found on NBC Sports Edge, powered by Rotoworld. I love doing that. What can you do? You can't do anything about it. I'm going to continue to do that. I have everything there in the article. Feel free to ask questions about things I wrote, streaming recommendations based on matchups, things of that nature. And by the way, if I forget, I'll try to say this at the end of the stream. This is my last stream before Christmas. So I want to say, as my decorations have been saying for 3 weeks now, and as my tie says so gleefully, happy holidays, things of that nature. Let's get into your questions. All right. So, Dan, wow. All right. Whew. Man, you wrote War and Peace here. Who to start at tight end? Okonkwo at Houston, and Burks maybe back. Yeah, Schultz or Njoku. That's tough. So the weather is going to be an issue this week in a lot of games. Field Yates from ESPN tweeted out some expected temperatures for Saturday and Sunday, and baby, it's going to be cold. Baby, it's cold outside. That's what I was going for, and I completely botched it. We'll edit that out. We'll tape over that. I like Schultz here. So Okonkwo is fun and good, and we like him. He finally ran more routes than Austin Hooper last week. Again, saw more targets. Again, was extremely productive. Just a very efficient fantasy producer. We like him. Unfortunately, he's playing the Texans, and the Texans are the second most extreme run funnel defense in the league, as my guy Dan B 2387 so graciously points out here. The Titans are going to establish it. Like I really think Okonkwo, even if he runs a good amount of routes, could be limited to 3-4 targets. It's hard to get there on 3 or 4 targets. So I like Schultz. There we go. All right, Michelle, welcome to the stream. Michelle is a regular. You may notice I'm using a Christmas themed coffee mug, and this, of course, betrays what I've said about using my NBC Sports Edge mug. And I'm not proud of myself, and I am expecting a call from NBC Universal after the stream. But no matter, I will use my Christmas coffee mug. It is my right. Michelle says, hello, PPR. Hi, PPR. Where will Devontae Adams rank as Derek Carr's projections plummet with temperature? I mean, here's the thing about Devontae Adams. You're playing him no matter what. I mean, who would you start over him? Unless, like, I don't know. Trying to think here. I don't know. Justin Jefferson is on the waiver wire. I think you're starting Devontae Adams. I mean, it's not a good spot. It's not a good environment. Nevertheless, we persist, and you're playing him. And thank you, Michelle, for the happy holidays wish. Same to you and yours. Eddie Jester the fourth says, second round off the bye week, ready to go. You're energized. So if you had a bye week last week, you're coming in. You and your guys on your team, they're energized. They've been chomping at the bit. You've been chomping at the bit to get out there and to play. You didn't have any fantasy action last week, unless you dabbled in DFS or something like that. I don't know who would do that to themselves. Wish I hadn't. But so you're ready to go. Congratulations. You have Hurts. This Hurts. Help discuss some high-end streamers. Yes. So Nick Sirianni said on Tuesday, Jalen Hurts has a real shot to play, and he will prepare to play against Dallas this week, along with Gardner Minshew. My hair's too tall today. Gotta flatten it a little bit, just a little. Anyway, all right. Well, now we're recording again. Look, Hurts is not going to play. That's my guess. Like, everything hinges on having Hurts, and the Eagles are not going to risk him, further aggravating that shoulder injury. It looks like something where they can rest him for a week, and maybe he'll be ready to go for week 17 or maybe even week 18. But they're in such a position, where they can afford to do that. So I don't expect him to play. Now, Minshew is a good option off the waiver wire if he starts. Which I think you will. Here's the thing about the Dallas defense. First of all, the Cowboys secondary is nicked up. Jerry Jones said during his Tuesday radio interview, which is always very colorful. I appreciate it very much. He said that they're struggling with several secondary injuries, and he said that we'll see how those unfold. We're going to have to track those, and you can check that out. Keep it locked on NBCSportsEdge.com for the latest in injury news across the NFL. If those injuries keep key players out, Minshew, of course, looks better. There's also this. The Cowboys pass rush, which gets the most pressure in the league by a good margin. If they can be somewhat neutralized, quarterbacks have had success against this coverage unit for Dallas. You look at Trevor Lawrence last week, going berserk in the second half, especially. The Jaguars have what Pro Football Focus ranks as the 8th best pass blocking offensive line this season. You know who has the best pass blocking offensive line? The Philadelphia Eagles. So I do think that the Eagles are in position to neutralize Micah Parsons and the rest of those guys up front, which would allow Minshew to sit in a fairly comfortable pocket. I'm not saying he's going to have all day, but it's not going to be like other times when the Cowboys front four has just harassed every signal caller they face. So Minshew is a top streamer. Zach Wilson, I take no pleasure. I take zero pleasure, no matter what anyone says, in touting Zach Wilson for fantasy semifinal week. The pleasure is at an all-time zero, is what I should say. An all-time low, not zero, all-time low. It's here. It used to be here. It's now here. Because here's the thing. The Jags are bad against the pass, and they're pretty good against the run. Okay, so unless the weather is really horrible in New York, I really wish this game was in Jacksonville. Unfortunately, it's not. It's in New York, or I'm sorry, New Jersey. And so Zach Wilson becomes very interesting just based on matchup. I also wanted to mention that look, Not in My League Twitter is going to absolutely just I'm trying to avoid violent language. They're going to be upset. They're going to be upset when I say this. Aaron Rodgers is available in 35% of leagues. I'm sorry, 30%. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just saying he's playing the Dolphins. The Dolphins have a very weak, exploitable secondary. Just keep that in mind as well. Yeah, Eddie Jester IV says, would I start Goddard? Yes, for sure. For sure. So Goddard had a big game, caught 6 of 6 targets for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns when Gardner Minshew started a game late last season against the Jets. I think we all remember that. All right. David Cook. Hi, David. Full PPR. David needs one flex player between Bam Knight, versus the Jags. Hubbard, yeah, that's going to be tough. And then Deion Jackson, Allgeier. Okay, all right. Listen, gosh, I wrote extensively about Allgeier. My button's showing here. You see what you do to look a little bit casual for these things. You don't button the top button. Okay, I'm no dork. I keep that unbuttoned, and then you have the tie a little loose, so it looks like you're cutting loose a little bit at the Christmas party at the Harvest Christmas party. Hey, bud, where are the appetizers? This guac's good, isn't it? Things like that. You can look cool loose. Anyway, don't know how I get off on these tangents. Allgeier. I think Allgeier is the play. I wrote about him, like I said, in my piece. What we wanted in this Atlanta backfield all year is just a little bit of concentration of touches, because it's such an amazingly nightmarishly run heavy system that Arthur Smith is running. They run no matter what. They're trying to hide their quarterbacks. They're terrible quarterbacks. Desmond Ridder was horrific in his debut last week. So we have Caleb Huntley out. Now, you weren't using Caleb Huntley, but he was seeing a lot of high-value touches in this Atlanta offense. Some of that goes to Allgeier. Arthur Smith said on Tuesday that he values very highly Allgeier's ability to break tackles and to finish runs. Okay, listen, Arthur Smith is a high T coach, and he loves himself a high T running back. That's exactly what big-bodied Tyler Allgeier is. Now, he's not going to see 25 touches, okay, because Cordarrelle Patterson is still there. I get it, but I do like Allgeier over those options. There you go. Streaming Goff at Carolina or Pickett. Oof, I think you have to go Goff, just based on offense. Like he has better options. Also, the Steelers have gone super run heavy of late. I think because they just realized that they can't, like with Trubisky or with Pickett, they just can't do that thing where they drop back when they don't have to, when they don't absolutely have to. So you're going with Jared Goff there. Is it on yet? Did my stream freeze? Oh, sorry. That must have been from a few minutes ago. All right. Pick 2. So yeah, I mean, you're going with Chubb, and you're going with Montgomery and Chubb. There you go. No, you know what? Go with Walker and Chubb. I changed my mind. Walker and Chubb. Do I go with Aaron Rodgers or Trevor Lawrence? Yeah. That's a tough one. I mentioned Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the Dolphins are giving up one of the highest EPAs per dropback to offenses. Like, they're getting wrecked by pretty much every quarterback they play. Obviously, last week Josh Allen did whatever he wanted against the Dolphins. And the Jets are as you know, very tough matchup in the secondary. Okay, so here's what I'll say. If the wind is really whipping in New York, New Jersey for this Thursday night game, and it's looking pretty ugly weather-wise, I would lean toward Rodgers, who's going to play in Miami. Okay. And as far as I know, now I actually did read it's supposed to be pretty cold for Miami, 55 degrees. I think we're taking 55 or whatever it's going to be for the Jets-Jags game. So watch the weather. If the weather's not too bad, I would go with Trevor Lawrence though. Oh man, Josh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I've worked my way up. Back in October, I was your 9th favorite analyst. In November, I was your 6th. Now I'm your 5th. We're moving on up. Let's go. Njoku or Ingram? Ingram. Okay. It's not Irish. This is not Irish coffee. This is regular. I'm sorry. This is not Irish hustle juice. This is regular hustle juice, and it's cold and terrible. Yet I drink it. It's curious. That's what I would say. All right, let's get on to more questions. I know you guys are sick, just sick of my jokes. Disgusted. Get this clown off my screen. Answer my questions, clown. That's what you're saying. Yeah, so Brock Purdy is another another good option off the waiver wire. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is so game script dependent and so rushing dependent that I don't think you can play him really. You're not playing Matt Ryan. I've given up the ghost. As you know, again, the kids are saying this, giving up the ghost on Matt Ryan or Minshew. So Purdy is definitely the safest option. Benjamin St. Juste, who is the top corner for Washington, he's missed the last couple games, and the Washington secondary has been not as good. In fact, not very good at all. Watch his injury status. I think it could be good for Purdy and the Brandon Ayuk and the rest of the pass catchers for San Francisco. Listen, Lee Cooper, my longtime online buddy, Lee Cooper, never stopping, Denny. I will never stopping. You know that. And you've known that. You don't even have to tell me, but thank you. You're playing Fields, folks. Fields. Let's not get nutty about Kirk Cousins scoring 40 fantasy points in literally the greatest comeback in the history of the league last week. Okay. That was a dream setup for fantasy. I know it didn't seem like it because Kirk Cousins had, depending on your league, scoring 1 to 3 points at halftime against the Colts of all teams, ends up with 40. But it really was like a really great setup for him. But yeah, come on, Fields. Look, Fields is like locked in for 60, 70 yards rushing. His upside is, I don't know what, 150 yards rushing. That's all you need to know. You're playing Fields. Help. I'm a sucker for help. That help is no, stop with Mac Jones. I don't want to. You see Polkster, you get out of here. I'm kidding. Stay around, but no. Mac Jones. Listen, I mean, honestly, I have no. Bailey Zappi must be the worst quarterback in history on the practice field, because if he can't get in to the lineup with Mac Jones playing like this, well, it's not good. I don't think it's good for his long-term prospects in the NFL. I would go Purdy. Yeah, I would go Purdy. All right, lost Hurts. By the way, I have a little pep talk in my waiver wire piece, which you can find on NBCSportsEdge.com. I have a pep talk for those who lost Jalen Hurts. Of course, Nick Sirianni is insisting that Jalen Hurts is going to play this week. I can't stop winking an eye. He's not playing. But Sirianni, Sirianni's a good coach. And you know what good coaches do? They lie. Man. That's what you do. You have to deceive and lie and be as dishonest as possible to both the media and, well, I guess just the media, because through the media, the other team learns about these things. Yeah. So Sirianni's going to lie all week. Okay. Pickett's off the table completely. I guess I would go Purdy. I guess what I'm getting at is that Purdy is the safest option. Zach Wilson is in play, though. I will say that. All right, tight end. Carl G. Bisbee the third says Kittle or Goddard. I do like Kittle. I think Debo being out is really good for Kittle. We saw that last week. Go with Kittle. All right. Mr. Laws, definitely not an FBI agent. That's that you stop saying that Mr. Laws is a Fed. Okay, that's not fair. That's unfounded. You don't know that. So stop saying Mr. Laws is a police officer. It's unnecessary. Trust Donovan Knight this week, sort of. Play 2 in PPR. Well, I would appreciate matchups, folks. If I could get some matchups with your questions, that would be great, because I don't have like every single game memorized. Okay. So Latavius should be okay. Go with Latavius and Zonovan. Bam, as the children are calling him. Bam Knight. Thielen or Zack Moss. Zack Moss is in a good spot, folks, playing the Chargers, one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Thielen was, I know he's caught a touchdown. I mean, Thielen was targeted on 6% of his routes last week against the Colts. That's fairly low. So I don't see him as like a prominent enough, part of this Minnesota passing attack, I guess, to play him. I guess Moss. Yeah. Mr. Laws is back. Oh, yeah. No, same question. Rick Mitchell. Oh, Rick W. Mitchell the fourth. Yes. Thank you for your full name. I need everybody's name. And if you don't give me your whole name, I'm just gonna guess. And so I love Rick W. Mitchell the fourth. Yes, you stood in line. If you're in line, you stay in line. You missed the Christmas sweater. Oh, come on. It's a tie. Are we not liking the tie? Oh, come on. It's hard to please you people. Is it no, not really. No, I mean, he's Neil. Hi, Neil Dutton, my good buddy. Listen, Neil, and by the way, happy birthday, Neil. Happy 29th birthday. So CJ Uzama splitting some routes, seeing some red zone target. I don't know. I would fade Tyler Conklin. Oh, I should say that Conk Daddy, which you actually can't legally say in 12 states, is Tyler Conklin. I should say that. Are there any kickers not playing in a freezer? Yes, right. Gabriel Q. Sanchez the 8th says, are there any Yeah, right. So Cade York, I recommended him. And then I learned that it's going to be one of those weeks where they basically probably should cancel the Browns game because it's just too cold. Cleveland sounds lovely, I will say, as a city. I was there in August and it was 45 degrees. So great little town you got there. Great climate. So Jason Sanders for the Dolphins, he is not playing in a freezer. He's playing in Miami. And so you can play him. Michael Badgley is available in more than half of leagues. Michael Badgley, I believe, is playing in the Dome. So you can go ahead and play Badgley. Unfortunately, nicknamed the Money Badger. And so folks are going to ask, and the folks have been asking, folks. Let me tell you, folks. They've been asking, why they're asking me, Denny, why are you not telling me, demanding that I play Chase McLaughlin, who went ballistic, who single-handedly won fantasy playoff matchups last week against the Vikings? I think he had 5 field goals. One of them was of the longer variety. And so why am I not playing him? Well, look, the kicker process goes like this. We want a kicker who's attached to an offense with a high total, which the Colts never have, and who will likely see neutral and positive game script, which the Colts, I know last week was weird, but the Colts usually don't see that and don't benefit from that, right? It's because if you don't see that sort of game script, you're not going to attempt field goals late in the game. You're going to chase points, chase touchdowns. So now I'm gonna contradict myself completely and say, but the Colts have a head coach in Jeff Saturday. You may have heard of him, who loves field goals and hates touchdowns. Jeff Saturday can't stand touchdowns. Okay, when he was hired, when he was shockingly hired by Jim Irsay, he said, "Look, we're not scoring touchdowns around here. We're driving down the field. We're kicking field goals." Okay, that's the way I'm going to do it. We are the field goal team from now on, and that you got to respect that. You got to respect. He's just honest about it. No touchdowns for us. We don't need touchdowns are for losers. You know what real men do? They kick field goals. So Jeff Saturday, yeah. So therefore, Chase McLaughlin now seems like, I don't know, the greatest kicker in fantasy history, but I cannot tout him legally or morally. But you can play him if you're desperate. All right. So yeah, another Hurts replacement. Andy Dalton, no. Mills, no. Minshew, yes. Yeah, I think you're starting Minshew there for sure. Purdy or Rodgers, if Hurts is out. Rodgers. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that weird noise. Joel Z Sabino De La O the third says, as it hurts to be a Hurts manager, you guys are you're tricky. Y'all are it's very clever. You guys are clever with the Hurts. It hurts. This hurts. The hurts. I get it. That's good. I'm not mocking you, Joel, at all. Okay. But I see a lot, in my column of questions here, I see a lot of Hurts jokes. I'm actually forwarding these to Saturday Night Live. Okay. Which, I know the people at SNL very, very, very closely. Okay. And they know who I am. They know I exist as a person. So why would you even ask? I'm forwarding these jokes. My waiver wire has Trevor. What? Okay. Trevor Lawrence, Purdy, Daniel Jones. Oh man. So you Trevor. Go Trevor. All right. Okay. I already got that. Yes. Joel. Thank you. Same to you. Let's see. Great call on Zay. Oh, thank you. And you know what? My son's name is Xavier. So I say the word Zay a lot, which is why I recommended Zay Jones last week as a priority pickup off the waiver wire. I think I've done that 3 times this year. So I say the word Zay a lot. Therefore, the analytics say I had to tout Zay Jones. It's not a good matchup. It's not a good matchup at all. But over the past 4 weeks, he is the clear-cut number 1 receiver in the Jacksonville offense, and the Jags offense now is the 5th most pass heavy in the league, and that's per pass rate over expected. Okay, so we have a genuinely pass first Jacksonville offense. That's good for Zay Jones. I think you keep playing him this week. All right. Help. EP says need 2 from this ridiculously long list of options. I'm now going to list every player in the NFL, starting with Deontay Foreman. I don't think Foreman probably is not it. Yeah. So you're going Allgeier, and you're going Zack Moss. There you go. All right. Finding myself in the turmoil. Yes. Who would Foghat stream? So listen, Foghat has an excellent. There's a band called Foghat from the 70s and 80s. They made a great Christmas song a long time ago. You should check it out. I've been given a very hard time on the internet over the past 3 weeks after I said the Foghat Christmas song was one of my favorites. Apparently, I'm alone on that island. Although I did see people listened to it. They came back. They said, "Hey, thank you. I didn't know I needed this in my life." And I said, "You're welcome. You're welcome." So check it out. Foghat Christmas song. Tell me what you think. All right, kicker question. Mickey W. Welka, the 13th. Wow, it's a lot of Mickeys. Kicker question. Played Carlson all year with wind, snow, freezing temperatures sweeping across the country. Drop him for a dome or fair weather kicker. Have a happy holidays. You too, Mickey W. Welka, the 13th. Listen, yeah, the Steelers Raiders game is supposed to be horrific for game environment, for weather. I was trying to think of the word weather. I couldn't quite come up with that one. what is it called when it's cold or hot? It's weather. Yeah, so I like I said, Badgley, Jason Sanders, even Chase McLaughlin. Check them out. Check them out. I wanted to come prepared with this, Gabriel, but I sadly did not come prepared for this. Yeah, I will say, let me check defenses real quick to see rostership for the defenses out there, just to give folks an idea of who might be available. So, first of all, let me check Baltimore. Baltimore's 90% roster. They have a great matchup against Desmond Ridder and the Falcons. Yeah, I mean, I think Cleveland is a good option. They're available in 74% of leagues. They're at home. It's going to be a nightmare weather game. Andy Dalton starting in that weather, so you can play Cleveland for sure. I guess you can play the Rams against the Broncos, maybe. Trying to look down the line here. And I mean, the Chargers make sense. I mean, they're playing at Indianapolis, but who cares, right? Who cares? Am I right or am I right? So the Chargers make a lot of sense there as favorites. And that's about it. Detroit, I think the thing with Detroit is that, first of all, they're bad at defense. And secondly, the Panthers, man alive, as I've heard a teen say the other day, the Panthers established a run, man. Like, they don't care. They're like the Falcons or the Bears. Like, they could be down, 13 points with 3 minutes to go in the game, and they're running it up the middle on 1st and 10. Again, you have to respect it. What I'm saying is, a team that operates that way is not going to be prone to a lot of turnovers because their bad quarterback, Sam Darnold, is not dropping back and passing a lot. That's what we want. And see, I'm using my hands here to show you what a pass looks like this, with the Matthew Stafford sidearm, or I guess the kids would call it the Patrick Mahomes sidearm now. All right. Let's see. Patrick says, somehow I won both leagues. Oh, where I didn't have a bye, even though the robe didn't make an appearance. No, I don't have a robe. I don't have. First of all, I hate comfort. I want everyone to know that. Okay. When I used to work in an office, I used to dress in slacks and a button-down shirt every single day. And you know what I would do when I got home? I would not change. I would keep my shoes on. I would keep my slacks on. My wife thought I was a little crazy. But I kept it on because, I like to be dressed up. Sorry if that offends. Starting Rodgers over Minshew. Hurts, yes. Thank you, Mark St. Amant, the 19th. Whew. Man, that's a lot of Mark St. Amants. It's a guillotine league, so everyone has studs at all positions. Oh yeah, I bet. Who do I like? Burrow. That's a tough spot for Burrow. Tua. I think. I want to say Geno, actually. Geno has a lot of upside here. Look, the Chiefs are the second or third most extreme pass funnel defense. And it's not because teams are scared to run on the Chiefs. It's because they stink in the secondary. Okay, so it's between Tua and Geno. I guess I'd lean Tua just because he has better weapons and Lockett's out. Yeah, so let's do Tua there. So this is a good question. Just because of the fact that the Seahawks are now in the top 5 in pass rate over expected, and they're going to be chasing points most likely this week against Kansas City, I think that Marquise Goodwin is in a better spot than Darius Slayton, who's trapped in a very run heavy, Giants offense where the volume's just not gonna happen. I mean, it's just not. So I think you go with Goodwin there. Goodwin has been very productive. I wrote about him on my waiver piece on NBCSportsEdge.com, powered by Rotoworld. I wrote about Goodwin, and every time he's gotten a 70, 80% route rate, he's done well. And I know touchdowns are fluky, but he does score touchdowns. He's a touchdown scorer. He's fast. As the announcers say, he's a fast guy. And I like fast guys on my fantasy team. All right, here we go. Etienne at Jets, or Pittman against the Chargers. Pittman is, first of all, running all the routes. He's seeing a lot of kind of easy PPR targets, racking those up. So I would go Pittman. I would go Pittman there. Drop or hold Hollywood Brown for, I mean, all your Cardinals are done. I mean, they're finished for real. Trace McSorley is probably going to start this week after Colt McCoy suffered a brain injury. I'm almost out of hustle juice, folks. Can someone get me some more? Can someone just drop by my house with a steaming hot cup of hustle juice? That'd be great. Drop or hold Hollywood for Zay Jones, Pittman, or Deontay Johnson. Drop or hold. I mean, Pittman. I would much rather have Pittman or Zay Jones than Hollywood. I see that you have Zack Moss pretty high, but it seems like Deion Jackson will share snaps. So you have Allgeier. So no, I don't think you need to go all in on Zack Moss. Yeah, I talked about this with Pat Doherty, Roto Pat, on Monday's podcast, where Deion Jackson wasn't really involved in the pass game this past week when Jonathan Taylor went out. And by the way, Jonathan Taylor was placed on IR, done for the season, unfortunately. So Deion Jackson is a pass catching specialist of sorts, I want to say. He had 10 receptions on 10 targets in a game earlier this year. So that's something. Ran a lot of routes when Jonathan Taylor missed time the first time around. So he could just take all of the pass catching work. And Matt Ryan, we know, loves to check down to his running backs. That would make Zack Moss very much touchdown dependent. So no, I don't think you need to go all in on Moss, but Moss's usage was really good. 24 carries in place of Taylor last week. And he ran more routes. Didn't do anything, but he ran the routes. That's what we want. You can have your touchdowns, you can have your receptions, whatever. I want my process. Give me my process or give me death. Not to be dramatic. All right, Denny, help. All right, we got another help. Daniel Jones, a better play than Minshew or Purdy? No, not at all. I would go with Purdy and then Minshew. Better replacement for Hurts, Danny. First of all, we can refer to Daniel Jones by his given name, Daniel D. Dimes III. Okay, Jared Goff or Gardner Minshew. I really don't like. Oh, I see why people. Okay, so people are into Daniel D. Dimes because Minnesota's so bad against the pass. I get that. Yeah, but I don't think it matters for the Giants offense and particularly for bad Daniel Jones, who is just terrible. I'd go with Goff. Let's go with Goff. And Neil says concentration of touches was my OMD tribute band, and I think we all remember, Neil. So thank you for reminding us of that. Well, Denny Carter asked Zack Moss or Deion Jackson. This is freaky, huh? I'm in the upside down right now. No, that's not right. Zack Moss. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Deion Jackson, we, keep it locked in to NBCSportsEdge.com for any insight into how these Colts running backs will be used. By the way, Jordan Wilkins was brought onto the active roster just for deep league purposes in place of Jonathan Taylor on Tuesday morning. So, Jackson would be a way better PPR option if he gets that passing down work and long down and distance, things of that nature. But right now, I guess I should say Zack Moss just based on usage from last week. Okay, select 2 for standard scoring. Please, Cris H. Burkle III, please convert to PPR next year. Zona is real bad. Really bad defense. So let's see. You cannot play DeAndre Swift. He's not playing enough. He's just not playing enough. Yeah, I mean, all we need is like a 50%, 60% snap rate for Swift, and we're not getting it, folks. We're not getting it, unfortunately. So, well, Christian Kirk is definitely not playing Detroit. Yeah, well, you got to play Watson. You got to play Watson. Got to play Watson. Has more touchdown appeal than any of those guys. I'd go Fournette and Watson. All right, Andrew, Jeff Wilson against Green Bay, Hollywood against Tampa. No, not Drake London. I mean, Drake London could literally have 70% target share and like 92% air yard share and score 7 PPR points in that terrible offense. So, oh, this is tough. I guess Jeff Wilson, if he plays, he probably will play. Browns defense or Saints. I would go. I think the Browns are a slight favorite. They're at home, so we go with the slight home favorite in the Browns. Hey, Matt O says in half PPR, should I have McKinnon or Zay Jones as a higher priority to get? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I actually would. Would you start either McKinnon or Zay Jones over ETN? I would start both of them over ETN. This week. Yeah, I think you got to get McKinnon, got to get him in your lineup at this point. Jacob A and or the fifth. Should I start Dallas against Philly or pick up another defense? None of those. I don't know. Maybe Cincy, but Cincy's missing both of their edge rushers. I don't know if that matters against such a horrible New England offense. I maybe just keep going with Dallas unless the injuries are really bad. Like by Thursday or Friday, if it's clear that Dallas is going to be down like 2 or 3 key starters, maybe then just go with Cleveland. That's what my recommendation would be. No, well, yeah, I mean you play Trevor over Gardner Minshew. Is it okay to drop Ingram to make room for Dallas Goedert? I mean, my opponent needs a tight end. Well, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying with I could also drop Jordan Mason, but I like the CMC insurance. Yeah, it's a good point. Honestly, look, Jordan Mason would not like turn into a 20 touchback if McCaffrey goes down. We only have 2 weeks left. I think that you can kind of cross your fingers. I would cross my toes as well. So you got the 2 up here and the 2 there's 4 crossed body parts, right? So if you do that, then you can go ahead and drop Jordan Mason. But if you do not dare drop Jordan Mason without crossing. I'm crossing my toes now too. I'm crossing toes. I'm crossing. You got to do that. But yeah, I mean, you got to get Goddard, Dallas Goedert into your lineup. Mixon or McKinnon. I was like almost afraid of this question because Mixon is so inefficient. Gosh. If it's PPR, I actually think McKinnon. I mean, Samaj P. Ryan is really eating into that Mixon role that we had for a while, where Mixon was seeing 85-90% of the snaps. He was seeing all the carries. He was seeing most of the passing game work. Like that was extremely valuable. That was fun. It's no longer that way because Samaj P. Ryan came in and he showed what he could do. And he's a good rusher. He's a good short yardage rusher that sometimes, honestly, translates into goal line work, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals said, I mean, Mixon has been absolutely miserable inside the 5-yard line. I was looking at these numbers the other day. One of the worst, if not the worst, runner inside the 5-yard line this year. So many opportunities. I think 28 carries. Maybe that's inside the 10. I forget what it is. I don't have it pulled up, but really bad. And Samaj P. Ryan is a much tougher runner. So if it's PPR, go with McKinnon. You're going with Fields over Burrow. My dad calls him Burrows, and so I end up saying Burrows like on podcasts, and I embarrass myself. Anyway. Deion Jackson or Mike Evans. Come on. Mike Evans is fine. Also, the Cardinals one of the worst secondaries in the league, and they're the ultimate pass funnel defense. Let's go. It's Mike Evans all day. Sorry, got worked up. Do you like better in the flex, Elliott or Knight? I think Elliott. I think you're going with Zeke. I'm gonna do this stupid thing. If Lamar is back, do you trust? Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're playing Lamar if he's back. But it looks like you have good backup options. So I would go Tua over Lawrence, just to be clear there. All right, guys, listen, we have 15 more minutes. So get in your questions. I mean, I am exhausted, but we're going to keep going here. Joshua Q. Loyola, the 9th, says, pick 2 of Olave, Mike Williams, Fournette, J.K. Dobbins. Dobbins has a really solid thing going there. Yeah, Dobbins and Mike Williams. There you go. Dobbins and Mike Williams. All right. There are no dreaded kicker questions, Dan B. Listen, I don't dread kicker questions. I look forward to them. Come on. Hey, keep them coming. I want more kicker questions. Here's what I want. I want someone to say, help, I have a kicker question. I want that right now. Put it in the chat. All right. Gould against Washington. Yeah, thank you for putting matchups. Thank you. Brett Maher, good spot. Badgley, another good spot. Right, he's not in the dome. Shoot, he's not. He's in Carolina. But I don't think the weather's supposed to be awful. All right, so I think Gould would be my preference. I think. No, you know what? I'm sorry. Go with Maher. I think go with Maher there. Judy, man, Maher or Gould. I don't think you can go too terribly wrong there. I guess I'll side with Maher. All right. Maher, whatever, however his name is said. Judy or Garrett Wilson. I go with Garrett Wilson. The Jacksonville secondary can be had now, okay? So I know the days of Garrett Wilson seeing 11, 12, 13 targets from Joe Flacco and Mike White. I know those days are over. And boy, do we want those days back. They're not coming back. But I think he can get there if he sees, a 20, 25% target share against the Jags. You're welcome, Gabriel. Denny Dimes. That's my nickname. They've been calling me that since high school, believe it or not. I got a 9-6 team out of the playoffs. Should I do the petty thing and drop my playmakers or my players to make the waiver wire spicy? Oh, I don't know. I would say no. Well, your roster should be locked, honestly, just to prevent something like this. But for the love of a congenial, good-spirited fantasy league where no one wants to commit crimes against anybody else, don't do that. Don't drop anyone like that. Yes, Neil. Mr. Laws works for Flowers by Irene or the FBI. Neil, I'm once again begging you. Listen, I will bring my mic closer. Mr. Laws doesn't work for the FBI. Stop saying it. That's not right. Okay, that's a huge assumption on your part. Okay. All right. Kip Davison. I got to give you a name, man. Kip G. Davison the 4th says, rank who to pick up in first in PPR, Zack Moss, Deion Jackson, or Chuba. I would go with Moss, Jackson, and then Chuba. Chiefs defense or Jets defense. Yeah. Let's see. Remind me who the Chiefs play. I can't remember. It's hard to keep straight in my head. Oh, they're playing Seattle. Yeah. Chiefs defense is so bad. I go with the Jets. I just go with the Jets. Is Carr? Yeah, no, I think that you're trying not to play Derek Carr this week because of the weather. Also, the matchup is tough. Derek Carr has not been done well, really ever, under pressure. And the Steelers with TJ Watt's, since TJ Watt's return, they've really pressured the passer at a good rate. So Carr is a very shaky option, I think, for this week. JD says, do I keep gambling on Mark Andrews? No, yeah, you just keep going with Mark Andrews. There's nothing more to say there. Thoughts on George Pickens? I mean, Pickens is like a complete boomer bust guy. Everything he sees is on the boundary. Those are very and downfield, by the way, downfield and on the boundary is like the most volatile kind of target that a pass catcher can see. That's all George Pickens sees, unfortunately. Now the Vegas secondary is truly, truly bad. So maybe he can get by with a big catch or two. But other than that, I think you could probably do better, certainly in 12-team leagues. Right. So Bam Knight or Pacheco versus Seattle. Pacheco was down bad last week. Had him in some DFS lineups, and I personally had fun watching Jerick McKinnon turn into, career prime Jamal Charles last week, while Pacheco stood on the sideline after fumbling and missing a blitz pickup, I believe. So go with Bam Knight. Where's the Christmas robe? I don't have a robe. I don't have a Christmas robe. I never worn a robe. Stop saying that way. It's a tie. That's all. It's a tie. I wish you could see more of the tie. I should stand up and do this stream. What do you guys think about that? Vinny Rubio says, please help. Who should I start at RB2 and the flex? So Mostert obviously is definitely has to be in there if Jeff Wilson is out, but it looks like Jeff Wilson will probably come back. So in that case, I would go with Deontay and Bam Knight. But watch again. I want you to keep it locked in to NBCSportsEdge.com to check injury updates, including the injury status of Jeff Wilson. All right. Yes, I do love my kicker questions. Boswell or Tucker. Yeah, Tucker. I mean, the Ravens should have very little trouble moving the ball against Atlanta. Really terrible defense. And Boswell is going to be playing in an ice bucket in Pittsburgh. Thank you for the matchups here. Yeah, I would go with Garrett Wilson. Yeah, I think so. Should I bench Kamara and Olave for Peoples-Jones? And I mean, if you can play Kamara and Dobbins there, that would be good. But I don't know what your roster requirements are. I mean, Peoples-Jones and Olave, they play in the same game and the same horrible cold. So it's hard to say there. But yeah, get Dobbins in your lineup is what I would say. I hope that helps a little bit. Pick 3 between Dobbins, Pollard, McKinnon, and Henry. Well, come on, Devin. Why are you putting Derrick Henry in there? Oh, do I start Derrick Henry against the Texans? Do I start? Let's see. The most dominant rusher of a generation versus the worst rush defense of a generation. I'm going to have to think about this one. I'm going to go with yes. You're playing Derrick Henry this week. You go ahead and play him. You have my permission. He's a good play. All right. And then, so yeah, go with Dobbins, Henry, and Pollard. Go with Pollard over McKinnon. Defensive question. Yeah. Tennessee against Houston there. Good play, or Tampa Bay at Arizona. Yeah. Listen, you're playing the Bucs. The Bucs are an elite play this week. All right. Don't quote me, but they are elite. You play Tampa. Good win at the Chiefs, or Dotson against the Niners, or Burks. So it's Burks for sure against the Texans if he plays. If not, it's Goodwin. Dotson, I don't think is in that conversation right now. All right, we have 7 minutes. Brett says, I know you've done a few whom over Hurts. Question answers lost JT and Hurts, and now facing picking up Russell Wilson, Zach Wilson, or Purdy, or just benching all my players. So the process says you don't want to bench all your players. That's for certain. We know this going in. Okay, the numbers bear this out. You don't bench your players if you want to win. Okay, so now that you know that, and you're going to keep your players active, we got that much settled. I do think Purdy is a safer play here over Russell Wilson and Zachary G. Wilson, the 23rd. All right, Chad says I wouldn't be so sure Hurts doesn't force his way into the lineup. Right. I mean, I guess it is possible. He is a tough guy. He played through an ankle injury last year that I believe required surgery at the end of the season. Can you imagine, by the way, playing on an ankle that requires someone to go in there and like cut up a bunch of pieces and like stitch stuff back together? I mean, imagine walking on that. Imagine you and I walking on that. We would be on the couch, literally just crying and eating ice cream out of the container. Is that something people do? I don't. It seems like something people would do in that situation. Yeah. So he is tough. So maybe you're right. Gallup is almost. Yeah, he's not playable in 12-team leagues. Any concern with the news of Nick Chubb? I didn't know that Nick Chubb sat out with foot injury. That's a little concerning. I would say, don't freak out unless he misses Thursday and Friday, especially Friday. So keep an eye on that. NBCSportsEdge.com for the latest in injury news. Running back dropped Foreman for Allgeier. Yeah. With the Caleb Huntley injury, we want Tyler Allgeier on our fantasy teams over those guys. Yes, for sure. Did anyone make sense? They did. You missed it, man. You missed it. But I told the folks, I got them all. I got all the jokes, and I sent them to SNL, and they're gonna read them on the broadcast this week. Can you believe it? I don't even know if they have a live show. As an NBC employee, I should be ashamed, and I'm sure I'll hear from HR. But again, they know me, and I know them, so we communicate like that. That's something that please don't ask anybody about that if that's true. I have done this for Allgeier. There you go. Okay. Oh, non-Hurts question. The first one in 57 minutes. We have 3 minutes. Jeff Wilson against Green Bay, Hollywood, or Drake London. Oh, I think I answered this. Did I? I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna have to get through. I think Jeff Wilson probably. Oh my gosh, you're making me reel here. I guess Zack Moss. I'd go with Zack Moss. Bench, best defense pickup. Not Washington for sure. Not Washington. Titans. Denver. Go with Denver. Taylor and Pierce. Yeah, this is fantasy karma. You laughed at your friend for losing Kyler Murray. The universe has spited you. Chargers defense hoping that missing Bosa is it. Yeah, right. I mean, the Chargers defense is pretty decent. Pick 3 to play in PPR. So you're going Pollard, you're going Harris, and you're going McKinnon. Is Waller worth starting? No. I would rather go with Okonkwo than Waller. Lord Denniston Carter, thank you, Bandit. Deion Jackson. Well, I wrote it up. I have like 2 minutes left, less than 2 minutes. So I wrote up about how I think the Colts backfield will be divvied up in the coming weeks with Jonathan Taylor on IR. It's on NBCSportsEdge.com. The short answer is Zack Moss for now, but we will await any news on that front. Thank you. And half point PPR Pacheco versus the Sea Chickens. My daughter calls them the Sea Hogs, not ironically. Oh, the Sea Hogs. They should change their name to the Sea Hogs. If they don't, they hate my daughter. And I don't know why Pete Carroll would do that to her. I would go with Knight. DeAndre Hopkins or Murray against Rams. Man, it's hard to play Hopkins, dude. Oof. I guess Hopkins. Yikes. Oh, there's so many questions, guys. Oh no. I left less than a minute. Do we trust Justin Herbert? Yeah, you're trusting Justin Herbert, yeah. Will we trust Christian Watson or has no. Yeah, I mean he's fine. He should have had a bigger game last week on Monday night. You got to keep him in your lineups. Ryan, for upside, would you go with Goff or Minshew? Upside, I guess you go with Goff. Yeah, just I guess. Pick one off the waiver wire. Good win for sure. I'm trying to skip around here. I have we're out of time. I have Chase against New England, blah blah blah. With Slayton, London, and Moore as two alternatives. Who would you start? Slayton, London, and Moore. I would go with Moore if Brandon Cooks remains out. Ken Walker, I think you play. I think you play Walker again this week over McKinnon. I know that's hard. That's tough to do. All right, I'm gonna try to get to a couple more here. Best streaming kicker this week. I wrote it up in my column, NBCSportsApp.com. Check it out. I have at least three options there. Hail, kicker question. Do I spend all my fab on Cardinals punter? And my punter, yeah, absolutely, man. You go all in. All right. And last one, pick three. I already did that. Oh, no. All right. The last one, the defense. By the way, we have a streaming defense column on NBCSportsEdge.com, powered by Rotoworld. Check that out. It's very good every week. But here I would go Cleveland, Chargers, KC. I would go with Cleveland. All right, everybody. Good luck in your semifinals. I will see you in week 17 for Fantasy Championship week. I'm buzzing with excitement already. Thanks for joining me. Check my article out on the website. And you can find me on Twitter, if you so choose, at CDCarter13. Goodbye.